What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Football Boot Hour. I have 100% forgotten what episode this is. 7? 7 sounds about right.
7 sounds fine.
6. Let's go with 7.
Let's go with 7.
Anyway, welcome along. It is me, James, here on my channel. This is Boot Wizard, of course, but this is not my podcast. This is our podcast, and every single week I am joined by my co-host, Andrew, from the Lockhart Boot blog. And every week I don't let him say anything because I just run into what's happening. I'm going to do the same this week. I am going to say that this week we are finishing the questions episode. So last week we tried to answer all of your questions, and the podcast ran an hour and a half, and we still have almost 2 pages of questions left. So this week we're going to hopefully get those finished, and you know what? We love it. We appreciate those questions so much, and how much
definitely.
you guys have engaged. Oh, absolutely incredible. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. But every week, before we get into the main topic, we need to discuss both what we've been trying this week and also the big releases, and that are some big ones this week. Of course, we will get to our thoughts on the Trent boots very, very shortly. So, Andrew, last week your Roteros came in, but you hadn't worn them. Have you managed to wear them? Have you been giving them a whirl?
No, not yet. I've just been putting them on and eyeing them and enjoying them.
Stroking them lovingly.
I'm stroking them lovingly. Oh, a leather predator. A new leather predator. Yeah, I really want a second pair already. Haven't even played in them yet.
Fair enough. There seems to be a lot of real genuine love for it, not just because it's leather, but because it's leather and it's actually also great. Everybody, Justin, Texas Cleat Collector, is in love with his, so they do seem to be a really fantastic boot.
Yeah.
Likely to be your next review?
Nice. See, I'm torn. I should review them on one hand because, I've got a boot and I normally try and review everything I get in. On the other hand, they're almost impossible to get hold of. So, is there a point to reviewing them? Because people can't really get them without paying crazy prices.
You know what? Let us know down in the comments. Let's have a poll from the people. Do you want to see a review of the Rotero even though you can't buy it?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know how people feel about that too, because I generally don't do reviews of boots that you can't get.
Yeah,
there's no point. I might do an unboxing and be like, here, look at these boots, but I won't make a whole song and dance about it because I'm like, what's the point? Nobody wants to know. Okay, let us know down in the comments. This is your job as the Football Boot Hour listeners. Please do help us out. Now, me, this week, I've stopped. I'm pretty much happy with my X-Fly 5. I think the review is done there. So I have been out doing some on-feet stuff. So a little insider information for everyone. The way that I do my reviews is I'll wear the boots every time I play or when I go out, and I'll build up my opinions, and then I rent a pitch, and I'll spend an hour, 2 hours just taking videos, getting pictures, things like that, to put into the review, because it's almost impossible to do when you're actually playing in them. There's, other people to consider and things like that.
Yep.
So this week, getting all of the on-feet, we have these.
Yay!
So this is coming very soon. This is my Adler Yama Tokyo. It's the synthetic boot from Adler. I'm telling the people because I definitely don't need to tell you that.
Yeah.
I got these from Andrew. They were hand delivered to me all the way from Japan, and I love that. So that review is coming very shortly. And then just for fun, because they came in, I had another little run out in the Tequila.
Nice.
So this I have 2 pairs of exactly the same boot now, because that's what crazy boot heads do.
Yep.
But yeah, just a little run out in the Tequila. What are we in? April?
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be another boot released this year that I like as much as this.
Wow.
There's my hot take. Like, in
Wow.
terms of, like, you just on
That's a
feet,
very
like,
spicy take.
there's my spicy take. I
Did you
think
forget the
this
Predator
is...
released?
Predator can go in the bin. Tequila all day.
You know, it's weird. The tequila's not available here. So, like,
What?
the previous model was, and I guess for whatever reason it just sat here. So we have the 442 and the Furon.
Interesting.
And that's it.
I do feel like New Balance has put more behind the Furon than they have the Tequila in marketing terms, players, colorways, things like that. They do view the Furon as like their really top marketable boot.
Yeah.
Even though I think the Tequila is better, but you know, who am I? Interesting, they haven't gone all regions with the Tequila though.
Yeah, it's a weird decision. I think it's kind of a mistake because, I mean, as you know, a speed boot tends to fit narrower, and in this market, people tend to have wider feet. So, yeah,
Look,
yeah,
wide.
exactly. We have the 2E model available with the Furon.
Yeah,
And it's like it makes more sense to have like Tequila, I feel.
I agree, and like I think just having all the options available in the 2E as well just makes so much sense for that market.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
What do we know? We're not the big money makers.
What do we know? That's something else we will probably cover in another podcast. Wide feet and boots that fit and such like, because I know that's a problem that a lot of people face. And I have another spicy take when we get to that, is that I think it's a problem that a lot of people think they have, and sometimes they don't.
Definitely.
But with that, let's move on to ranking what came out this week. And, where to start? I suppose we're talking about Japan. Let's start with an unbelievable colorway, are the Unisport and Puma. This was the Ultra and the King in the Great Wave Pack.
Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. Big fan of Hokusai, who was the original artist who did the woodblock prints for the Great Wave off Kanagawa, which they're inspired by. Yeah, it's gonna be a big yes from me. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, I think they're both great. Like, they're both top tier. It's really well done, and I think it's credit to how well they're done is shown by the fact that Unisport have sold out of the King, have they not?
Yeah. The King of all the, like, I expected the Future to go really quickly, but the King is gone.
Yeah, I don't know whether they just went lower numbers in the King, expecting nobody to really get into it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's sold out at all, like, the Unisport colorways are great, but Unisport is reasonably difficult to get stuff worldwide because of the cost of shipping. Even to me, I'm only in Ireland. I'm not that far away from Copenhagen. It's 16 euros for delivery. And then if something's wrong, there's no free returns. I've got to send that back to Denmark, tracked, so that I make sure I don't lose it. It's mad.
Yeah.
So, I'm surprised. Not surprised because of how they are so great, but it's surprising that anything's sold out, because the limited don't usually do so.
Yeah, so I immediately went to buy a pair, and they don't ship to Japan for whatever reason right now. So I need to get them shipped to Singapore or something first.
See if Jay will do you a favor.
The irony of the Japanese-inspired boot not being available to be shipped to Japan is just top-notch. I cannot believe it.
And you get some boots that are like, oh, this is inspired by Japan or something. And it's like a little bit here or there. This is like so Japanese inspired that it can't be anything else. And they're like, yeah, we don't send them to you.
Yeah. I went to order them, and I was just like, that's weird. My address isn't entered in the membership info. Okay, well, go in and Jordan, Italy. Where's Japan? What the? It's just like, okay. I mean, I really want these, so I'll definitely jump through hoops to get them, but I didn't want to have to jump through hoops.
Yes, I think,
fun fact. So on the Future, it says Mirai on the side, which is Japanese for future. But in Japanese, because it's a product name, they don't say this is the Puma Mirai. They say it's the Puma Future. So it's like, why wouldn't you just put future on the side instead of Mirai? Because Mirai is basically the future, like as a tangible thing, not a product.
I think somebody just didn't look at it. They were just like, oh, what's future in Japanese? And did the translation, stuck it on the boot. Nobody went and looked at, oh, how do they say future in Japan? Like, nobody thought about that.
I feel like they put future in Japanese on another future before, though. I could be wrong. Maybe that was the one that released here. The limited edition one they did several years back. But,
okay.
Yeah, anyways, it still looks cool. I'm still going to buy it. Top marks for me. Put it in great. Put both of them in great.
Both of them in great, but yeah, there's no you can't get the Japanese Puma boots in Japan.
Yep.
That is top-notch marketing, that is.
Brilliant stuff.
Okay, what is next? We've got the Trent boots to talk about, and we've also got the new Skechers pack to talk about. So let's talk about the Skechers pack first.
Yeah.
So I think these are... You know what, Skechers? I don't really think they've missed yet. I think all the Skechers have been great. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I really, really like these a lot. There's definitely some 2002 Vapor vibes about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I mean, I love those boots, so, these are going to be pretty easy for me to like as well. I like the shade of green that they used. I like the silver. They both look really, really good. That's great for me.
Great all around. Yeah, I agree. There's been a few... They've definitely got those Vapor vibes, and that's the comparison I've seen the least. The comparisons that I've seen the most are to those Adidas X 15.1s. I can't remember what they're called. Exo something, Exa, I don't know. They were again, chrome green, and they
Excellent.
looked... Thank you. There we go. And yeah, they look great. And as soon as I put a post on my story, Derek from DL Boot Room messaged me and was like, those look just like the Exolates. And then like today, Unisport put up a comparison photo of the two boots. But yeah, the Vapors is the obvious one for me, but there's been fewer of those comparisons. And then the SKX is definitely giving me Scorpion GX vibes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the
GT.
reasons for that are GT. Sorry, yeah, I get them confused all the time. Yeah, the Scorpion GT. Obviously, it's chrome, so that ties in, and then obviously there's the texturing and the fact that the SKX is so similar to GT.
Yeah.
Like, I realize, obviously, Skechers went, oh, we need some designers. Hey, you people over there at Nike, come here.
Yeah.
And, like, pilfered a load of Nike designers for their boot department, and it shows.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think there's definitely vibes there, but it's not a bad thing. And, I think they can go in great as well.
Yep. Agreed.
It's a great week. And finally, we have the Trent boots. Now, outside of just the colorway, I do have some thoughts, but what are you thinking on the Trent colorway first?
Colorway's excellent, nice and clean.
Yeah.
They probably could have done some red accents on the studs themselves. Would have brought it all together better, but as a whole, love it.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And I did see somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, they kind of made a deal out of the sole plate being the same as Trent's, like it not having any red accents or anything like that. That it's like, oh, the same as the prototype that Trent. Now, I reckon that's just a cop-out to use like the exact sole plate that is on the whiteout or something like that. But yeah, somebody did make a deal out of that. And so there was this whole thing. Trent had the boots. There was the company that customized Trent's boots, and they came out and said, look, we can't customize we can't do this colorway for anyone. We're not allowed. We're contracted by Adidas, where we cannot do this, and these boots won't be released, which is the information they were given by Adidas.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a few people be like, oh, it's great. Like the guys on the Bootcast podcast said this, that Adidas essentially listened to the people and were like, oh, the people want this boot, we will release it. I think that's just not the case. I want to see a Trent boot, and I want to see the manufacture date of that boot, because I think those boots were made a long time ago, and they were always planned to be released. They just haven't turned around a new colorway that fast.
It's Swift Adot is the company that's customization. I saw a thing where they said that Adidas did not tell them that they were going to make the colorway as retail. And I guess they assumed as part of their agreement that Adidas would never do that. I've also heard the red is slightly different. There's a little bit of orange to the red. And I will shout out... Who told me that? Predator Pro.
Okay, so it's more like solar red that Adidas have used in everything.
Closer to a solar red, yeah.
Right, okay. So that's how they're navigating their murky waters. Yeah, I just think that these boots were always going to be released. They were in the pipeline. They've told this one company that they're not going to be released and that they can't do any customs, which I think is pretty bad form, to be honest. And then gone. Trent boots. And we've got another Predator colorway to deal with.
Because we don't have enough. Yeah, they look great. No.
Like, what are we on now? 10? 11? Something stupid?
Yeah,
I'm not even going to count them anymore. I've had enough. But with that said, they look great. They're going great. Yeah, that's a clean sweep of the greats this week.
I'm glad you didn't have your Man United hat on for that one.
No, it's like a boot is a boot. Like, I can respect a boot no matter who the signature player is.
That's true. You had the Sadio Mane ones.
I have 2 pairs of Sadio Mane, 3 pairs of Sadio Mane boots, I think. Yeah. I have the Magum ones, with the limited editions on those. I have a pair of unreleased ones that were supposed to be for the Champions League final in Madrid, but because Mane is so superstitious about his boots, etc., he wouldn't wear them. He wouldn't swap. Yeah. So he wore the standard base colorway. And then I have another pair, very similar, like a pair that were not released. I can't remember what they are, though. But yeah, I have multiple Sadio Mane boots, which at the time was a Liverpool player. So of all the things I could possibly have.
Right.
But speaking of signature boots, I know that in these questions somewhere there is a question about signature boots that we shall get to. However, before that, let's start at the top and get into these questions. We are 18 minutes in, which gives us 40 minutes. And
How you feeling?
I think we can do this. I think we can do this. Okay, but the question at the top may require some thoughts. This is from the Bootlocker. Bootlocker is a reseller, does a lot of kind of used boots, like we were talking about the other day. Uses used boots, cleaned up, sold on again. Well worth checking out. Like him a lot. And is also in Ireland, the same as me, or Northern Ireland, I believe. So, question is kind of a story. So, in Ireland, the lads have a real affinity for boots, mainly in GAA circles. That's Gaelic football and hurling for those who are uninitiated. It's almost a romanticized relationship, particularly Preds 02 to 2012. Is that something we've experienced elsewhere? So there's loads of resellers across the world reselling boots with Irish flags. Ireland might be the heaviest hitters pound for pound when it comes to boot consumption. So essentially the question is, have we experienced anywhere else where there's like this crazy romanticized relationship with the 02 to 12 Preds outside of, I suppose, our circles? And then obviously just a statement that Ireland is really huge into their older boots, and I can vouch for that. It's a weird one, that I find that I don't see many people wearing the newer kind of mercurials and things like that, but the amount of older boots that you see on pitches, older Preds particularly, is like impressive for like on hurling pitches where you don't need to kick a ball.
Yeah.
And there's power swerves running around the place. Like it's and it is very much a romanticized relationship. But I couldn't think of any other circles where that was like a thing. I just know it from obviously what we do and from seeing it on GAA. But if you know anything,
I think the Preds in general have a pretty romanticized relationship with the game. I would say it's more going to be probably Mania, Pulse, and Absolute. The Power Swerve is a bit of a stretch. Even though that's my favorite Predator, it didn't appear in a big tournament like the other three did.
Yeah.
And the X is... I'm sorry, Predator Pro. The Pred X is just... Nobody looks back on that fondly but you.
It's so true. Yeah, I really like the Power Swerve. I think it's like the Mania is like my favorite Pred. But if you asked me right now if I had to go out and play in a like retro Pred, I would probably choose a Power Swerve or maybe a Addy Power.
Addy Power, yeah. Addy Power would be a good shout.
Yeah, I feel like the Addy Power doesn't get as much credit as it should because it doesn't have like the tongue and it's like the later model.
Yeah.
And by that point, the X had ruined life. So,
yeah.
But yeah, but I think you're right. I think overall Preds are crazy. And then I didn't even realize like how crazy the old or retro boot consumption was in Ireland. But obviously I've seen many a car game and you're like, there's just all these
Preds.
Retro boots everywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very cool. I should get some pictures for the page.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along to the next question, which is from Joe DeLucy.
Joel Ducey.
You're smarter than I am. That makes so much sense.
So he works at the Soccer Corner in Austin. So he's one of my friends.
There you go.
Yeah.
He wants to know, what do we think has been the most influential shoe technology since 2020? So in the last 3.5 years. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think the one that's it's not, you can't call it influential yet because it's not really influencing other things, but the one that maybe took off the most was the grip knit, like with Nike.
Yeah.
Like that was huge on the GX one. Like I haven't really seen a boot sell out in every single colorway like that for quite some time. And then that with the grip knit was a huge thing, and now it's coming onto the new Vapor as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like a lot of the technology is technology we've seen before.
Yeah, it's just
kind
been
of
rehashed.
Reused. Yeah. Retooled in some way or another.
Yeah, I guess grip knit would be a good shout. I would go far as to say it's kind of like the next evolution of knit in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot since 2020 in my opinion. I'd be interested to know what Joel thinks.
Yes, Joel, let us know down in the comments. What do you think? Yeah. And everybody else, obviously, let us know what you think as well. Have we missed something glaringly obvious?
I feel like we probably have, but...
Oh, yeah. I feel like he's asking this question because he has something in his head where he's like, oh, it's clearly this. And we've just completely, like, missed it entirely.
Yep. Oh, well.
Moving on, now that we've probably been stupid. Christian Datween, 08. Why can't Nike make tongue vapors?
Because that would be admitting defeat about their whole one-piece upper type deal.
I said nothing, knowing that would be your answer. Nike have a whole philosophy Substance Football has a really good video on this. It's either a short or one of his videos, and their whole philosophy is this idea of kind of moving forwards and always looking to innovate and do the next thing. And that's kind of their excuse for not doing a lot of remakes and things in the football boot world.
And not admitting any wrongs.
Never admitting they're wrong, because you can just move on to the next thing.
Yep.
And essentially, the tongue would be looking at like that and kind of going backwards. Although it is one thing where I can almost see them bowing to pressure. It's like, if so, Adidas have obviously brought back the Predator with a tongue and a fold-over tongue as well. It looks like it's going to happen with some other lines, some other boots, and if that really starts to take off, it's maybe the one area I can see Nike actually bowing to pressure and starting to make like a floating tongue boot again.
Yeah, I can see them doing that. Well, the next Tiempo will be a floating tongue with grip net.
Oh, you joke, but they're gonna put grip net on the Tiempo, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're actually going. They're gonna do like a synthetic leather forefoot with like a grip knit midfoot, like,
or vice versa. They want to do it so bad, you can tell.
Yeah,
you can just feel it emanating from them.
But I feel like they've been itching to get rid of leather for about 10 years as well.
Yeah,
they were looking for an excuse.
Oh yeah. Them and Puma both.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next question is from our good friend Proper Boots. He wants to know: you're stuck on an island and can only take 3 pairs of boots with you. What would you take?
I'd take right now Adler Yadigar shoe, Mizuno Wave Cup Legend, and probably the Ignitus Keisuke Honda model.
Oh, nice. Yep. Nice.
What about you?
It's a good question. Obviously, the standard answer, and we'll just get it in nice and early. We need a pair of Nemesis. .1s.
Yep.
I would take. I'm kind of looking around me now. So yeah, my Nemesis .1s. I would take. I would take a pair of. I don't own these, but I'm thinking logically here. I'm gonna take a pair of brand new. No, I'm gonna take a pair of match worn David Beckham Predator Manias, because if I need to barter my way off the island, they're worth a lot of money.
That's thinking outside the box.
Thinking outside the box there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a pair of those. Nemesis, because obviously Nemesis. And they're just because they're looking at me. I recently bought several pairs in a little bundle of the Nike T90 Air Zoom 3s.
Nice.
And I got a bundle of 3 of them. It cost me €40.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've all like used and that, like, you know, where the heel starts to crack on them and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and repair them. They're all still in good condition. So yeah, They're staring at me right now, and they're kind of an old favorite of mine. So we've got a classic, a modern boot, and something to barter my way off the island with.
You could probably barter with those T90s.
Probably, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? Nume_Rod10. Okay, it's Tabio socks versus WeFoot versus the new Adler grip socks. So this is a grip sock question.
How dare you make me choose my children?
So I will begin by saying I haven't tried the Adler socks yet, so I can't actually make that comparison. And then Tabio versus WeFoot, I reiterate Andrew's point. How dare you make me choose between my children? I adore both of those socks. They are absolutely some of my favorite socks on the market. Cheap and shameless plug for my own grip sock review series. I've been tier ranking about 85 different pairs of grip socks, where I've just done part 2. Part 3 will be coming next week on Friday, and I haven't ranked the Tabio or the WeFoot yet. They'll be in one of these other parts, 3 or 4 parts. So yeah, you have 85 ranked pairs of grip socks, and the Tabio and the Wii Foot are some of my absolute favorite in the world. And I have successfully talked enough that I think I can avoid answering that question. Your turn.
Tabio for grip. Tabio for fit. Wii Foot for grip, and the Adler and the Tabio for quality. They're just that little bit higher quality, in my opinion.
I think the quality on the Tabio is excellent. Excellent. Yeah. And if they fit, I've said this with a few of the different kind of toe socks, 5-finger socks and things that I've reviewed so far. But if you get the right fit on a pair of those toe socks, it's absolutely unbeatable.
Yep.
Like, it's just sometimes they don't quite work with your feet, especially because I've got like a really weird little toe that's been like broken so many times it just gets in the way. But the Tabio still work.
Yeah. Nice.
So SFG Soccer, so we kind of just covered this a little bit. So he's a great guy. So this is one that we should get through quite quickly. Do you see companies going away from the sock one-piece upper boots?
Yes.
The answer is yes. We kind of covered that. Some are already doing it, and others will follow.
Yep, definitely agree.
Here, who has definitely given us questions before, would like to know a boot remake that we'd like to see, and his would be Burrito R9s.
Burrito R9s.
I don't know. I was hoping you did. I don't know.
Burrito
Have I missed
R9s.
something? That I'm reading what's in front of me. Hold on. I'm even going to Google.
You're Googling Burrito R9s?
100%.
Great podcast for audio listeners. Just as you know.
I'm just... James is up there just
thinking of
Googling
the audio
things.
only. The audio only listeners, always just thinking of you, making sure that your needs are met.
Yeah, I can't see a damn thing. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. But
message one of us what you're talking about, and we'll probably have a eureka moment. But
we will, yeah. But do you have a boot remake that you'd like to see?
Yeah, I would like to see the original Ignitus brought back.
Nice.
Yeah, they did they remade the Ignitus 4 in the original colorway. I like them; they're a fun boot, but I wanted the originals. I just want an excuse for them to remake the originals so I could, stack up again. I'm looking at I found over here 4 pairs in my size of the originals in my favorite colorway.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, if I can clear out enough boots, I'm thinking I'm just going to buy all 4 and just sit on them like a dragon. A bunch of gold. And they are gold. Don't you dare suggest otherwise.
Don't you dare. Andrew will find out where you live. He has a very specific set of skills.
Yeah.
For me, definitely nothing from Adidas, because they've remade everything under the sun 8 times.
Except for F50s.
Except for F50s, yeah, somehow. The Evo Power 1.
That's a good shout.
That's my call.
People were. This is the second week in a row we've talked about how great the Evo Power 1 is, and people are like,
yeah.
What the heck? Evo Power 1?
Yeah.
If you didn't try it, you don't know.
Yeah.
Genuinely a game-changing boot in a lot of ways, and because it failed so badly, they didn't improve upon it.
Oh, that upper though. That upper.
Oh, it's so good.
Tasty. Okay. Moving on. What do we got next? We've actually answered that next one on the list, so I'm gonna not answer that one. This is an easy one as well. Blaine Costello. Again, a couple of times he has asked us questions, so thank you very much. Do we think they will make more of the new Preds with a leather upper?
They said they haven't, but they also said the Alexander boots wouldn't come out. Alexander Arnold boots wouldn't come out, so
yeah.
I'm hoping they're lying. Everybody should. This is the the Rotero is the one Predator they should have made widely available. And just because a lot of the younger generation don't understand why leather Preds were so good.
Yeah, they've got this. They're now like, oh yeah, look, I've tried a Pred. I've got this Hybrid Touch 2.0, and it's not the same. It's just not the same.
They're really good. The Hybrid Touch is fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
You get the new Preds. They're great. Everything a modern Pred should be. But the leather on the Rotero and just having a leather Pred in general, there's something. It hits different.
I haven't even had them in hand, so I have no idea. But I have fond memories of old school leather Preds. And but yeah, my answer is the same as yours. Adidas said no, that would be the only one, but they are also lying people, and they may be lying about this too. But yeah, short answer is no. Next question, Andres underscore 16. Has there been any more complaints on the Predator 24 upper or sole plate? I've had a few more, and it does tend to be the earlier colorways. I've not seen anything on since the whiteout, I don't think, with any kind of damage. So maybe there was an early processing issue with like the molding or something like that. Maybe people have just stopped using them on AG pitches, which I don't think would be true.
After we screwed them not to.
Yeah, after we all went, stop doing that. But yeah, so there has been a couple more, but it is almost entirely and exclusively on the early colorways that people have been showing me them. Anything to you?
Nothing to me. I know Justin, Texas Kit Collector, Bootcast guy.
Yeah.
He got a few more, but I don't know if they're any of the newer colorways or not. So.
Okay. Go and check out the Bootcast podcast or drop a DM to Texas Cleat Collector. So ask them one or the other, and they will be able to probably answer that question maybe a little better than us, because Justin did kind of become the poster child for information on broken Predators.
Yep.
Next
just
up,
ask
we have
him how his day is doing. You know, how is his day?
Okay, I want to see how many people, before Justin watches this and realizes, can go onto the Texas Cleat Collector's Instagram page and just DM him, how's your day? Just as many people as possible, go and DM Texas Cleat Collector, how's your day? Just no other explanation. Just do it. I'm waiting, and I want to see how long it takes him to notice something's going on, and then watch this and go, lads, what are you doing?
Spam it. Just spam it. Send it to your friends.
Yeah. You know what? Tell as many get in your own groups and get all of your group to do it. I want to know. We'll report back next week as to how many people did this. Be part of the movement.
Yeah.
The power that a podcast gives you. It's gone to our heads.
Yeah, right.
Next question is Victor Noel Jr. Oh no, I lied. We've done that question already. I'm going to delete it and continue on. Sorry, we answered that in another podcast. This is a brand new question. This came in very recently. This is Sergio.Reiko. Will used and broken in boots mold to the feet of the new owner? I thought this would be a great question to give to you.
They can. It depends on how long the boots were used previously. So, if they're used for quite a long time, it's obviously going to be more difficult. That being said, sometimes boots will kind of readjust, especially if you have any glaring, differences in foot shape and stuff. I will say, if you get boots from somebody who's had particularly very wide feet, then probably not. Because I got a pair of Air Zoom Total 92s for $50 back in the day off the manager at the store I was working at. And his feet were so wide. And it was the first time I was like, okay, don't buy any more boots from him, because they were so stretched out And they felt so loose on my feet. It was ridiculous. Perfect size, everything else, but like the width was just insane.
I think the key here is make sure that you know how much they've been used.
Yeah.
Like, if they've been lightly used a couple of times, like I buy boots that have been used a couple of times very frequently, because it's a really great way of saving money. So if anybody is under the illusion that Andrew and I somehow get either A, a lot of money from doing this, or B, a lot of free boots, you are sorely mistaken.
Sorely mistaken.
So we lose a lot of money doing this comfortably.
Yep.
This in the last, in the last 18 months, 2 years, let's say 2 years, I have got a grand total of 2 pairs of boots from brands or companies. 2, I think.
Right.
So are you faring any better than that?
Adler did give me 4 pairs.
But you work for Adler. That's different.
Yeah. But that was before I even started working for them.
Okay, fair enough.
They were a bit more free about doing stuff like that. But not recently, because every single boot, I'm like, hey, I know we don't have a lot of boots hanging around. Can I get this? And they're like, literally every new boot is being sold. Every boot we make.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting any pairs. Pros, nobody.
Yeah.
Everything is going straight into stock. Which, by the way, just as a quick aside, they're doing pre-orders right now. So get on your horse. Go pre-order a pair.
Pre-order for Adlers are on. They are ready. Yep. Go and do it right now. But to my original point, so I tend to then buy boots if I'm not trying to get a brand new boot that's just released. I will buy boots that have been worn once. Maybe somebody decided it was the wrong size. They're not that difficult to find. Yep. And you can save yourself a good bit of money, and it doesn't make a lot of difference. But I think we made this point maybe last week. Keep a look at the heel and the insole. If the insole is very worn or the heel is very worn, they've probably been worn a lot. And that might leave you with a few more issues in terms of both what life is left in the boots and also if your feet will be able to actually mold them to your shape, or you'll be stuck with what the other person had. Yeah. Next question. We're flying today, actually. Flying. Red Robin fan. Should you saw down the studs a few millimeters if they are too long?
Okay, so just be very careful. This is very popular. Shout out to Jason from Boot Hype. This is very popular in China particularly, where they don't always have the best playing surfaces, but when you don't want to wear a pair of turfs. So I know he's done that. I'm trying to remember which boots. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's done that to a couple of his boots before, where he's just sawn down the stud length. I've seen someone do it to the new Preds as well, where they basically just almost not completely, but they saw down at least a couple of millimeters on the studs to make them more suitable for AG. I don't normally recommend it because you could ruin your boots very easily, but you could do it. It does make a difference, but
yeah, that was kind of my answer.
Just as an aside, I don't do it. I don't recommend people do it, but you can do it if you want.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought process as well, was that you can do it. It should be okay, but you have to be super careful, and it could go horribly wrong. And I mentioned warranties a lot for various things. You obviously void your warranty on your boot should anything ever go wrong. Next up, the man himself, the Texas Cleat Collector, Justin from the Bootcast podcast, would like to know how we got into football and what team that we support.
I mean, that's easy for me. I kind of played soccer a little bit when I was a little boy. Little. Played at school a lot.
Little Andrew.
But when I moved to the UK when I was like 10, then it just exploded from there. And because I moved to Derby, I naturally just started following the local team for better or for, well, actually just for worse, probably.
Yeah. Has there been better? Has there ever been a for better?
Yeah, we were decent when I first started following them. Enough to fool me into a long-term commitment.
For me, so my family's not particularly into football, or at least they weren't when I was kids. I'm the oldest of basically there's four of us, four boys. I'm the oldest one. My dad wasn't really into football. My granddad played rugby, like wasn't really a thing. But my best friend at school was really into football, so I would play football with him. And so the tense here is very important. He was a Man United fan. So because he was a Man United fan and he was my best friend, I just did what he did. So that's why I'm a Man United fan, and I have stuck with that ever since. My best friend, Peter, he no longer supports Man United. I say no longer, it's not like he changed like 6 months ago. Probably when he was maybe 14, 15, something like that. He decided that he didn't want to support Man United anymore because he decided he was supporting them for the wrong reasons, because obviously they were doing well. And he was going to support where he was basically from, which is where his dad was from, which is Newcastle. So he's been a Newcastle fan for probably the last 21, 22 years. But he is the entire reason that I supported Man United and still support Man United, even though he no longer does. And yeah, so my entire family now support. Well, this half of my family supports Man United. My son has a Man United jersey, and yeah, it's all because my best friend supported Man United and he doesn't anymore.
Go figure.
Go figure. Influence on my life or what? Next up, this is a good question for you, I think. Jacob C. Phillips. Why don't more companies utilize Carvo inserts?
So Carvo is a Japanese-based company, and that's not in vogue right now to use stuff like that. I don't think a lot of brands outside of Japan know about Carvo, so there's not really use to it. In Japan, you've got Adler, you've got Mizuno, and Hummel, actually, on their Borart series. Hummel uses the Carvo. Umbro used to, but only for their Japanese boots. Their Japan boots is actually made by a different company who's paying Umbro to use their logo, pretty much. So they don't have much connection to their overseas brand. Same with Hummel. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, my answer was going to be money.
Yeah.
It's an answer we use a lot. Your answer was way better than mine because I didn't have any other rationale. Yours is much better. But I was going to be like, because it costs money. There are many boots that are around at the moment that would very much benefit from a Carvo insert. GX. Anyway, moving on. Another man. This is the OC Boot blog. This is Ollie. If you haven't checked out his blog or his Instagram yet, please go and do so. You can go and talk to him about Leeds United if you like. He wants to know what are the most... No, you probably don't want to do that. He's not in a good place right now. What are the most underwhelming or boring boots out there? And Ollie specifies that he thinks it is the current Mercurial.
It's the current Copa.
The Copa Pure. Interesting. I haven't tried it. I've held them, but I haven't tried them.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm trying to get rid of a pair, and I'm just sitting here bashing it. But honestly, sole plate's good. The rest of it just kind of seems like they just tick the boxes. Reuse fusion skin? Check. Make it look slightly more modern? Check. You know, it's just kind of not there for me.
Kind of meh. I see where Ollie's coming from with the Mercurial.
Yeah.
Because it's become, I think I've described it as like an everyman's boot. And we discussed this again last week with them putting the extra width in there and things like that. It's become a boot that appeals to the masses. Now, there's nothing wrong with the boot. Oh. Bye,
The
light.
timing on that.
I know, right? There's nothing wrong with the boot. It's actually quite a good boot, but it doesn't stand out in any way either.
Yeah.
I'm there and I'm like, what do you do that's like best in class?
Yeah.
And it's nothing. It's
Hype.
just good. Yeah, hype marketing. It's just good. It's solid. It's right there. And yeah, I don't know if it's underwhelming or boring. It maybe is boring, but like it's just so solid. I can't really criticize anything that it does, but at the same time, if you're like, oh, what's the best upper? It's not that. Is it the best sole plate? No, it's not that. Is it most comfortable? No, it's not that. Is it the most responsive? Does it have the best lockdown? No. It's always something else, but it's just good at everything. And I suppose that does become reasonably boring. But yeah, while I'm talking about vapor uppers, I'm going to just a slight tangent here because this it's just irked me slightly. There's so many places. I think Footy Headlines did it. Versus did it. There's a couple of other places that did it. They've done articles or spoken about the Mercurial, like the new one, being like, oh, it's the end of an era. No more Flyknit on the Mercurial. I'm like, we haven't had Flyknit on a Mercurial for 2 generations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know it's on the heel of the current one, but the main upper is Vaporposit. The previous generation was Vaporposit. And everybody's like, there's just people going, oh, no more Flyknit. What about the Mercurial? The Mercurial, no more. I'm like, it hasn't had Flyknit for 2 generations. I just wanted to rant about that a little bit because it was irking me. I was like, you don't know anything. Anyway, Angelo SB, I'm going to slightly streamline this question. Best boots for wide feet. He wants to know the best boots for wide feet from each brand, but that would take a very long time.
Yeah.
So just what are the best boots for wide feet?
Anything Adler, pretty much anything Mizuno besides the Alpha, almost anything Asics. Not really more mainstream. I would say the Crazy Fast is actually pretty good.
I think the Crazy Fast is decent, and I know it's a really obvious and boring answer, but the New Balance wide fit boots.
Yep, New Balance wide fit boots.
New Balance do a wide fit, and I've made this claim many a times. I'm sure I'll make it in the future, but my current claim is that if you pick any 2 boots from any brand, like any big brand, New Balance have a better 2 boot lineup.
Yeah. Oh, the new GX
that's my
is
call.
pretty good for wide feet, by the way.
Oh yeah, how do we miss that? The new GX is acres wide. The new GX is a really good shout for wide feet. It's almost like it fits me reasonably well, but if it was any wider, I would have like kind of size and bunching issues, I think.
Yep.
Proper Boots is back. If Nike have both Mbappe and Haaland, who will Adi sign to rival them for signature boots?
They already signed him.
His name's Jude
young.
Bellingham.
Besides Jude.
Who are you thinking of?
Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
From Barca. He's too young for signature boots right now, but he's going to be the future.
And by the way, I know he got taken off early because of the red card, but he was unbelievable in the start of that Barcelona PSG game. I've seen him play a few times, but mainly Champions League. I don't tend to watch, La Liga or anything like that. But he was just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's outrageous.
For his age as well.
Yeah.
Is he 17 yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think so either. That's painful.
Yeah.
I feel so old.
He could be my kid.
Oh, God. Yeah. Genuinely.
Genuinely.
Oh, my God. That's... The one that always used to make me feel old was the fact that I'm the same age as Wayne Rooney. So, like, when he was playing for Man United, I was always like... like, literally, I'm like, look at what he's doing, and I'm, like, struggling to buy pasta for my, like, university lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
But that now you've got all these young kids coming through, and you're like, oh, God.
Aging out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, next question before I get depressed. SFG Soccer again. Thank you very much again. Do you think specific positions should wear specific boots? I feel like he's actually trying to poke me right now into being angry.
Yeah, absolutely not. Wear whatever.
No. Yeah. I wear whatever you want. Ignore it from your position perspective. The only benefit I can ever see or have ever seen to boots by position is that the marketing might help you choose what the boot is going to be like. So if they're advertising a boot for wingers, for example, you are likely to expect that to have aggressive traction, be lightweight, have a barefoot touch, obviously a speed boot. So there is some benefit to that, but on the whole, if a big 6'5" centre back wants to wear bright pink mercurial vapors, then you should absolutely do that.
It's actually funny you say that. I used to play with a center back who only wore Messi boots, and he was like 6'3" and like 200 something pounds.
Yeah,
great, solid center back. But yeah, as soon as the Messi 15 came out, he had like all 4 colorways of those. When the 16 came out, he wore those, and it was just really funny. Like, nobody at Adidas marketing was matching this when they made these. He wore like size 12s as well.
Amazing.
Giant old feet. Yep. Never seen a Messi boot so big.
But yes, in short, wear whatever the hell you like. Boots by position is nonsense. Yep. Nevin_Thomas16, another regular commenter and listener. Thank you very much. Who is one signature colorways again? Who is one player that deserves a signature colorway and hasn't got one yet?
That's a great question, actually.
So
do you have one off the top of your head?
Yeah, so I think I've gone like it feels like an obvious route, but like I think it's very worth making the claim. I have 2 in mind. One is Anita Bonmati, because she got she got a signature colorway, but if it's not on sale, I don't count it. Like if you can't buy it, it doesn't count. So she got like the gold and black ones from Nike, but she got to wear them. They weren't on sale, so I'm not saying they count. And my other one is Lauren Hemp, and
Lauren Hemp's a good shout.
I think she's the right type of player. Like she's this kind of like fast winger. She scores a lot of goals. She'd be great for marketing. She's very likable. Like. And she's one of the best players in the world. She's going to obviously play for the Lionesses. I think there's a lot of marketability there. And I think she probably is a great shout for a signature boot. Personally, I would love to see Lucy Bronze get a pair of signature boots because I love Lucy Bronze.
She's been around for a long time. She's always been solid. And
the closest she got was a Nike ID colorway, Nike by You colorway that you could choose. But yeah, that's a very personal preference. I think at this point, she's kind of, it sounds really bad. She's like 31, 32 or something. Like she's kind of too old for them to be marketing signature boots. Sam Kerr, there's another one.
Sam Kerr,
top of my head.
That's a great one.
She's only been used for the Dream Speed. She's part of like the Dream Speed club. But that kind of, as time's gone on, that's meant less and less and less. So yeah, there's, like I say, the obvious one, like they don't do very many women's signature colorways.
Yeah,
so
they should absolutely do more.
One that I think will come along now, actually, is, I'm probably going to butcher her name, but Jordan Huitema, Canadian.
Yeah,
she's just moved to New Balance, exactly. Yeah. And I think, like, so New Balance have history doing the Rose Lavelle colorways and things like that. And she is such a huge name. Now, you wouldn't consider her one of the best players in the world at this point. She's still excellent.
Yeah.
But she's got such a social media following. She's great marketability. She works with other huge brands outside football. I think in the next 12 months, we will probably get a signature colorway for her. And I will absolutely buy that. Yeah, I thought that was going to be like a 2-second question. But anyway, any thoughts from you?
It's hard to disagree with what you've come up with. I would like to see... I love the Huming Song colorway that they did. I'd like to see them do at least one more for him. But a lot of the limited edition colorways and stuff, player-specific colorways, are far too Eurocentric. I would love for them to... There's loads of marketing potential outside of Europe, and they just ignore. Even in Japan, which has a very strong rivalry with Korea, that Huming Song boot sold out immediately. None of them made it to reseller sites.
Yeah, everybody wanted them.
Everybody wanted a pair. And, you know, there's so much potential with players here and just around the world. Even if you have to make a localized pair or something, you still should do more signature colorways for some of these players.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It'd be better. I'm just going to get it in there because we speak about it every week. They make too many colorways, but they're making too many like mass market colorways, things like that. If you did small runs of signature colorways, so you had your main lines, and then you did a small run of limited colorways for different regions, it would still work, and you'd be making way less product, and you'd actually be selling out. That you wouldn't be like sitting on a ton of boots here and there. It's actually a really good idea.
Definitely agree.
Somebody pitch us to Nike and Adidas, Puma, Mizuno, whoever. Next question is from Yuli, our good friend, xquetzalcoatl.x. What's a small brand that has surprised you with its quality?
I mean,
is the answer Adler?
yeah. Adler's an obvious answer. Royale, the Italian boot company, has amazing quality for their handmade in Italy boots. Now, obviously, they're handmade in Italy, but I mean, not a lot of people know about them, but they're one of the best out there when it comes to made in Italy boots, I think.
If you are interested in Royale boots or just something that is really high quality, handmade in Italy, go and speak to Yuli. I'll leave his Instagram up on the screen. I think he even has like an ongoing discount code that you can use for them and stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure he does.
And he's an expert on Royale. It's a really great, shout. Now I've never tried them, so I couldn't comment. But from what he's shown me, it's always been very impressive. My answer was going to be Adler because, of course, it was. Okay, this is the penultimate question where we might get done here. So I got SSB 1227. I bought a Vapor 3 and they're in great condition. Would you wear them or keep them as a collector's item?
Oh, that's so tough. If you can get a second pair, get a second pair and just keep one as a collector's item.
Yeah, that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
So so here he says they're in great condition. If they've already been worn,
go ahead and wear them. Yeah.
Just absolutely. Wear them. Even if they're in great condition, if they've been used, just wear them. Like you're not saving anything by keeping them as a collector's item if they've already been worn once. Just go out and use them.
Yep,
if they are in like new condition, they've never been worn, try and find a second pair.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Vapor 3. I absolutely love it. That's probably my favorite. After the 10, that's probably my favorite Vapor.
I was literally about to say, you have said the Vapor 3 to me so many times. Like, huge fan.
I had nearly every colorway in that boot. That was like right when I first started collecting, and I was still wearing only Vapors at the time. So yeah, I had pretty much every colorway in the Vapor 3.
It's a great looking boot too.
Yeah.
Like even those early Vapors, even though sometimes they weren't the most comfortable, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, and our final question, ladies and gentlemen.
We've done it.
We're going to get this done. We've done it. Let the party start. So this is from AD.px. Again, another great guy. Wants to know which player/boot started your love for boots. I'll go first.
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
my answer is super there's probably a billion other people who have the same answer as me. It's David Beckham. I've said before that obviously I got the Diadora Brazils because of Roy Keane, but that wasn't that wasn't where like I had a love for boots. I just really liked Roy Keane, so I bought the boots he was wearing. I had no kind of affinity with the boots per se, but David Beckham, particularly the Champagne Mania. Now I had the black, red, white Mania. That was the one that I had, and I'd obviously beforehand. But the Champagne Mania, Beckham wearing that was just special, and the way he had the tongue all the way over, and obviously Beckham being Beckham, just because of who he was. I would say that if there was ever a point that I could pinpoint and be like, that is me, like, really fall in love with boots, it's David Beckham. But I also have to give a shout out to my younger brother, the oldest one of the three younger ones. So he was always a good footballer. He played in academies, things like that, significantly better than me. So he always had good boots, or he had better boots. And I always took great interest in the boots that he had. So he was definitely an influence. Like, he had they weren't good, but he had them, and I thought the coolest thing ever, like the F50 Tunits, and things like that. So yeah, the F50 .6 Tunits and the .7 Tunits.
.7s were better.
Yeah, he had both of those, and he's always big into Adidas boots. And yeah, he was definitely an influence on me really liking boots, because he had these amazing boots, and I would always follow that. He also had Champagne Manias, so that probably helped as well. But yeah, so shout out to Luke, my brother, who is a great influence with boots. And I'm going to plug his Instagram. It's Gosney Pizza. Man makes pizza. Go follow Gosney Pizza. And Andrew, what is yours?
Mine's kind of weird. So I always wore Vapors because I love Nike. I had an affinity.
How times have changed.
Yeah, right. I had an affinity with them, especially because they're like the biggest, most well-known American company that made shoes. And when I was living in England, I kind of hung on to anything that was American. I remember the first nice boots I got were a pair of Air Zoom Total 92s in the launch colorway from a girl I was dating for Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, very nice. I didn't start really getting into boots itself, like going mad with collecting, probably till I started at a store in like 2006. And I started loading up on Vapor 3s then. But the first non-Nike boot I wore after that was a Puma V106. And the advertising was everywhere. And they were just so unique to what was on the market. They were paper thin, had a carbon fiber sole plate.
Trying to look and see if I don't think I have the 06.
Yeah.
I have many of the others.
Yeah. Great boots. I wore them like crazy. Those did not last for most people. I managed to get a full year out of them. Most people got about 3 months.
Yeah, max.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of where I started. There wasn't really a player. I do remember thinking of Henri when I bought a pair of Vapor 2s, though. Like, several colorways of Vapor 2s I bought was specifically because Henri was wearing that colorway.
Yeah, Henri is very much my Vapor guy. I know there's obviously people that are kind of maybe more Vapor. You've obviously got Ronaldo and things like that, but Henri, like if you say Vapors, especially early ones, it's always Henri. Yeah. Particularly at Arsenal, just bending balls into the top corner. Oh, what a player. Yep. What a player. That's it. We have succeeded.
And
we are just over the hour, but hey, we're always over the hour, so we'll take it. Yeah. Which means also, if you have questions, leave them down in the comments.
Now
we can take more questions.
Yay!
So put questions down in the comments. You can DM either of us. I am at Boot Wizard Boot Reviews. Andrew is at Lockhart Boot Blog. You can DM us with your questions. We do actually have another question, which is for the next lot, which are already put on there. And then you can also check our stories, usually the day before we record, which would be a Thursday or a Friday. You will be able to see a story which will ask you for an Ask Us Anything. You can put your comments and your questions in there as well.
Yep.
But with that said, Andrew, would you like to tell the lovely people what they should do and say goodbye?
yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with us through all the questions we had. And we appreciate the support. It's gone down really well, so we're very, very thankful for that. Please share, subscribe, get the word out there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Thanks for listening to two white dudes just yammer about boots for an hour every week. Hour-ish.
It was a workshop title for the podcast, Two White Dudes Talk About Boots.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. We will see you next week.
Thank you.